Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and I'm afraid to say, much to the surprise of absolutely nobody at all, it looks like another SNP manifesto promise is about to be broken. I know, gosh darn it, who'd have thunk it, eh? It's basically the replacement for Erasmus. Erasmus was a Euro-wide scheme, Euro area-wide scheme, where students can travel to anywhere in Europe to do the studying. It's all science-based and things like that. And so there was this free travel for students to study. We were in it, but then when after Brexit we weren't, and the UK government declined to remain attached to it and set up their own scheme. The Welsh set up their scheme and Scottish set up their scheme as well. But it costs £27 million a year to run and doesn't really seem to be achieving much. And so despite the promises by the SNP to maintain the scheme, they're going to basically just let it rot on the vine, wither away and not update it, and then just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. So frozen, isn't it? And that's what they're going to do. Another broken promise. Let's have a look to see why, yet again, another thing that they say they're going to do has gone the way of all flesh and is going to be no more. They are a crowd, aren't they? Here goes. So, SNP consider breaking Erasmus manifesto vow due to the £27 million cost, showing a hollow European Union boasts. Basically, they want something that's like Erasmus, although not actually Erasmus, just to say, look at us, we're good little Europeans, please help us. Of course, Europe doesn't even recognise Scotland as an independent country. It treats Scotland as a region of the United Kingdom, which of course it is, in the same way as England is a region of the United Kingdom and so forth. The United Kingdom itself is the sovereign territory. So it's money thrown out there that achieves nothing other than, oh, look at our credentials. That's what this is. It's a £27 million I don't know, gloss, really, but I don't know. It's a polish on the turd, isn't it? The Scottish Government have long boasted about wanting closer links to the EU, but have failed to get an exchange programme set up with educational establishments in Europe, and that's falling behind Wales. If little Wales can do it, you wonder why the Scots can't. The SNP are so keen on the EU. It's just that the EU, not so keen on the SNP, perhaps. Who knows? The SNP has been accused of hollow pro-European rhetoric after the Scottish Daily Express revealed that it's considering axing yet another manifesto promise, to the surprise of absolutely no one. Scottish Government officials have been tasked to look at whether Erasmus scheme can be replaced. It was scrapped by the UK Government as a result of Brexit, meaning that students can no longer freely study across and abroad Europe. Westminster set up its own initiative called the Turing Scheme, which allows some university students to head out and study internationally for a term. Very fine, very good, gives them experience, excellent, don't have a problem with it, provided it works. The Welsh Labour government succeeded in bringing out a £65 million TAFE scheme, which offers similar freedoms to Erasmus. The SNP were elected in 2021 on a manifesto which promised to replace Erasmus, but has so far failed to live up to this vow. And of course they won't. Money, that's what it is. It's cash, and they don't have any. They've so badly managed the finances, and it's hardly surprising when you've got a genius like Shona Robison at the helm of finance, a woman whose understanding of mathematics is actually, if anything, worse than Diane the Abacus Abbott. And so, of course, it's in an absolute shit state, for the want of a better term. But anyway, she's so far failed to live up to this vow, and it looks set to join other promises on the scrap heap, like free laptops for all pupils, which never happened, of course, and creating more statues of women, which is very, very important, some people might think, or something. Don't know why. It's not as though we don't know what women look like. Policy analysis acquired by the Scottish Daily Express through the Freedom of Information legislation found that the idea of fully replicating Erasmus was scrapped early on due to the potential £27 million cost. As a reminder, the Nats promised to create a Scottish programme of exchange to provide mobility and cooperation opportunities in higher education vocational education and training, and school education, including early childhood education and care, adult education, youth and sport. A lot of things to cover. £27 million a year. They don't have the money because they've got to spend it on all the other things that they need to spend it on. You know, absolutely vital things like pretendy embassies and Angus Robertson's first-class travel. Without those things, the whole of Scottish democracy would flounder. The document reveals that the government officials are considering delaying this until 26-27. Delaying is, of course, political speech for let's just abandon it some point in the future, but we'll pretend that we're going to go ahead with it so that nobody calls us out. That's what they mean. It was quietly scrapped following a number of programme for government commitments, which watered down the pledge to just scope options for the development of a Scottish Erasmus scheme. This basically means we won't actually write it off. We would leave it and we'll just tell people we're looking at it. But we're not actually going to do anything. And there we go. And that's it. They are just full of piss and wind, aren't they, really? Scottish Lib Dem spokesman Willie Rennie told the Scottish Express, the Erasmus programme is a fantastic initiative that helped us forge relationships with our European friends and opened up the world for Scottish universities and students. Yet reports now suggest the Scottish Government is considering breaking the manifesto commitment and pushing an Erasmus replacement into potentially the next Parliament. This only further exposes the hollowness at the heart of the SNP's pro-European rhetoric and will leave thousands of Scottish students missing out. Well, they do have the option, of course, of not going to a Scottish university, of going to a different university in England or Wales, and that way they can go and join those respective Turing or Talis projects. But this is Scotland through and through. It's the SNP through and through. Mismanagement, cock-up, breaking of promises, inability, ineptitude, stupidity. And that's before you even start getting into the criminality and corruption. Dear heavens to Betsy, who'd be a student in Scotland. Coming up. They do it all the time, don't they? Break a promise, break a promise, break a promise. Because none of them are keepable promises. Because they all cost more than about 4 shillings and sixpence. Honestly, these people are running an economy, trying to run a government on the change they find down the back of a sofa. It's no wonder everything is turning to absolute shite. Meanwhile, they can afford to waste money on all these independence projects just to rub their egos and make them feel like they're real people, real politicians, powerful, bestriding the world and gaining respect from other world leaders. Without realising, other world leaders just look at them and laugh at them as being little more than parish councillors. It's a shame that all the damage they're doing, well, they're doing it. Anyway, round off there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. We're getting close. We're on our way up now to 20,000. We've clicked the 19,000, so we've just done that last run up to big 20,000 even, which would be grand. So do, if you are already subscribed, check you're subscribed. And if you're yet to subscribe, do so. Thank you very much. Bye.